Okay.
Who do you claim to be?
Who do I claim to? Who do people say that I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Lloyd Marshall Briggery, but I also go by Brigg. So my whole art situation is Art by Brigg. After 10 years in the Army, everybody in the Army knows me as Brigg just because we go by last names. And yeah, so Art by Brigg was really elegant in its branding capabilities. Also, I've gone through maybe a half a dozen signatures throughout my art career. And you know, it only looks cool if you're really famous to spell out your entire name. And being that, like, I do illustrations on relatively small paper compared to big art installations, when I was spelling my full name, it tended to take up the attention rather than the piece itself, you know?
Your signature was the art piece.
Yeah, you know, and I got a mean signature for sure, but it was just like, all right, you know, looking at efficiency and elegance, just let's keep it simple. So, but I go by Lloyd or Brigg or whatever. I've been called way worse. So
Everything but a child of God.
yeah.
Hey, yo. Going back, elementary school, middle school,
Yeah.
what drew you to art?
So I grew up in a musical family. So the arts were always kind of encouraged. Everyone in my family either plays or sings or both. And so music really wasn't a choice. But I can't remember a time in my childhood where I wasn't drawing or playing the piano or something like that, you know?
I didn't know you play instruments.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was like the family business, you know? In fact, I was watching Disney Channel one day at my grandma's house, and there was a song that came on, and I ran into her living room and immediately played it. I was like maybe 5 or 6. And everybody in the house was like, "Oh, he's got the gift," you know. And so they immediately put me in. They did a test. So my mom sat down and played a song, and then she's like, "Now you play it," and I just played it by ear, you know, like perfectly. And so they were like, "Okay, like we got to put him in lessons." So I was in piano lessons for like 6 years. I was like classically trained. That was the passion that was encouraged the most, but I always had pencil in hand and was always drawing. Back then we had encyclopedias, and I loved animals, so I was just drawing all the animals and stuff all the time. But when I was 8 years old, I was at the grocery store with my mom, and I saw my first comic book, and I opened it up, and as soon as I opened it up, when I tell you, like, something happened in my mind as a little 8-year-old, like, I knew 2 things immediately. I knew, one, I shouldn't be looking at this. Like, this is way too... this is not safe for children right now.
Oh,
but number 2, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, I have to do this. Whatever this is, I have to do it. And from that point on, it was like superheroes. Like, I got into comic books. Back then, man, it wasn't cool to be a comic book nerd. Like, you had to keep it a secret. But now, it's you're not cool unless you're a comic book person, you know? So, thankfully, society has flipped. But I feel like I'm a pioneer. Like, we laid the foundation, you know, for it to be cool. So, yeah.
That's wild. I never knew you were musical or instrumental.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was like the first recognized talent that I had. I mean, I played all throughout high school. I mean, I've led choirs before, man, like just throughout the years and stuff. And I've played several other instruments. Like, once you learn how to read music with the instrument, it's just like, how do you make the instrument make noise, you know? And then the music, you know, music theory is music theory. So, but yeah, I wanted to do something different than my family. And also, man, like, that comic book passion was like ignited. You know what I mean? Like, once that happened, it was like, you know, I still play. Like, I still have my grandmother's piano. Like, that was the only heirloom I got from her when she passed. But yeah, nobody else got the piano, man. Like, I got it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
From music, then you dig into drawing. What was that route? Because you mentioned you want to do something that was still different from the fam.
Yeah.
But it was still well in the arts.
Yeah.
How did you develop that passion of drawing, man?
I think it was a combination of things. The music, you know, like once I learned how to play, and like I said, I was taking lessons for 6 years. So from 6 to the age of 12, you know, so it was like early middle school. I was, you know, X amount of times a week, you know, hours and hours and hours playing the piano. But my mom and I, my mom likes action movies. She's an action film junkie.
Love that.
She'll punch me if she heard me say that too. But I remember, she's gonna hate this, but it's true. She took me to see Scarface when I was like 6 years old. That's a true story.
Of all movies.
And I'm gonna tell you though, as a 6-year-old, I cried at the end when he dies. Spoiler, like if you haven't seen Scarface by now, like I don't know, I'm not even sorry.
At this point.
Yeah. But you know, he gets killed at the end. Say hello to my little friend, you know, all that. And I cried because I thought he was the hero, you know? Like I thought he was a good guy.
That's a hero. I mean,
he's the main character, but he's
protagonist.
Yes, yeah, of sorts. Anti-hero, we'll say, but at best. But you know, you look at it as an adult, you're just like, oh my God, like there's no one noble in this whole film, you know. But so my mom and I, every weekend we used to go to the movies, and this was just before Blockbuster became a thing. And then every Friday it would be a Blockbuster Friday, and so that was like our family bonding thing that we did. And so we always would go. And back then they didn't have like 4 or 5 different trailers. There was no internet either. So like what you would do is you'd either like see it in the newspaper, but more often than not, we knew like the show times, right? So like matinee on a Saturday they had like a 10, a 12, and a 2. And then 4, 6, 8, 10, and that was you had to pay full price. So we would always go to the matinee. And that actually worked out better for me as a kid because when you get older, you kind of want to be seen with your family, but like my friends would go in the evening, so like we definitely got to go matinee, you know? It was trying to still be cool, you know, a reputation to maintain. And back then, like we didn't often know what movie we're going to watch. So it was just like you go and you look at the marquee. You say, oh, there's a Stallone movie. Oh, there's a Schwarzenegger film. Oh, who's this Van Damme guy, right? Mm-hmm. And then we would just go watch that. And after a while, you know, you kind of know, okay, that's the action guy. Bruce Willis, he's the quippy guns guy, you know, whatever.
Die Hard.
And yeah, Die Hard, of course. Mm-hmm. And so we loved those movies. Well, I would say like she loved those movies. I was just going with my mom, you know, and so getting that taste of like heroism, really, you know, these guys, they didn't have like superpowers, but they were superheroes, you know? They had unlimited bullets.
Apparently.
You know, like as long as you don't get shot in the head or like in the heart, you're gonna, you know, you get shot anywhere else, you're gonna live and keep fighting, you know? They were superheroes, right? And so that coupled with reading comic books, it's like you start to develop these stories in your own mind. Plus I was the only child. And so as an only child, you know, like I would play video games, and even back then, man, you know, I played fighting games like Mortal Kombat and like that, Street Fighter. It's like there's the hero, there's the good guys, there's the bad guys, right? So like that theme was just so reinforced. It was like I started thinking of stories on my own, and like then it's like, well, what's the best way to tell these stories? And comics is unique in that I think it's like a pure medium because like. You're limited to your imagination and your ability to draw, because like you don't need to hire anybody. Like you don't have to CGI anything, right? Like you don't need $1 million budget to blow up Times Square. You just blow up Times Square, you know. So yeah, like comics was like a nice way to be able to tell any kind of story you wanted to. It takes a little bit longer, but it's shorter than a movie, so you know, production wise.
And when did you realize, I'm actually getting pretty good at this? Mm-hmm. What's next?
Oh, okay. I'll tell you. So this is an interesting moment. It must have been the summer going to like 4th grade. So I was really young. And I spent my childhood pretty much like at the Boys and Girls Club in Goldsboro. So we were called the Boys Club. For years, I didn't know it was Boys and Girls Club. We just called it the Boys Club. And so I didn't know this I wasn't aware at the time, but like, believe it or not, I'm an introvert. Like, I'm really introverted. And what I would do is I would go to the boys club. I didn't really have any close friends at that time. So I would just go into the library, get some paper and a pencil. Then I'd take that to they had a snack area where you'd have to eat your snacks, which had tables and couches. And so I would go sit in the farthest one in the corner, and then I would just go draw. Like, I would just be in my own little world. Who knows how long I was there, 5-6 hours a day. When my mom was at work in the summertime or whatever, she taught school, so it was summer school stuff. And I would just draw. And I remember, man, one time somebody was sitting in my corner seat. So I had to sit closer to the edge, which is where people are walking and hanging out. And I'm just like, whatever. So I had this magazine. It must have been like a Mad magazine or Cracked. I don't know if you remember those. They're like illustration magazines with little comic strips in them.
Is Mad like what led to Mad TV?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, satire, like all satire, but they're comics though. Not Marvel and DC, but just like other characters. And so I'm head down drawing. Just looking. I found something that I liked, and I'm just kind of back and forth recreating it in my own world. I've done this 1,000 times before. I do this at home. Like, this is just how I hang out. And dude, I look up, and when I tell you, man, it was like a dozen other kids, and they were all like, and I was like, what are y'all like? What is going on, man? They were fascinated by like what I was doing. And so like, you have to understand, I'm my only child. So like, I'm not used to that kind of attention from people my age, right? Like, I'm used to going places with my mother and my grandmother, go sit in the corner, occupy yourself while grown-ups do whatever it is they do. Like, so, everybody was just really, and it was like what y'all want, man? Like, what's going on, And they were just, everybody said, like, how do you do that? Like, did you really draw that? And I'm like, yeah. Like,
you're watching. You're literally watching me do this.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how long you people have been here, but yeah, and so at that point, I kind of started to realize, like, because in my mind, I think I just assumed everybody did this or everybody understood this, And so, yeah, I was fascinated by their fascination of what I was doing. And I realized, like, oh, like, everybody can't do this. Like, this is different, And shortly thereafter, I was at the barbershop, and I was having a hard time at the barbershop because I didn't, it was weird being dropped off in a room full of dudes, and my mom would leave me, And my barber was great. He's still alive to this day, man. Percy Royal Classic Barbershop. And Percy was such a kind man. He said, this is what he said to me, because I was freaking out. He said, you know how you good at with that pencil and paper? And I was like, yeah. He said, that's how I am with these clippers. And I was like, oh, okay. And then that was it. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Okay. And that was it. I was cool, man, after that. Wow. So, yeah, those things kind of happened. That was like summer of after third grade going into fourth grade. Yeah.
That's amazing what encouragement and validation from a trusted person.
Yes.
Or just any given person, for that matter. But especially from somebody that you connect with, identify with, trust.
Yeah.
That just nudge to keep going, that nudge to say, you're good. This isn't weird. This isn't strange. Like, you're talented.
Yeah. And that word talent got thrown out a lot. It still gets thrown out a lot now, but I hear it with different ears today than I did back then. This talent, and I think most people think this about talent, that most people think talent is enough, and most people think talent is all you need. And it's like, at best, talent puts you in line for whatever the thing is, at best. I think having that moment with my barber also kind of was the first hint at perhaps you could do this for a living. He kind of, the way he equated what he does, I knew he owned the place. He was the head barber. and he was as good at that, and he compared himself to me. I was nowhere near that good. I wasn't like a child prodigy at all. I could just replicate what I saw pretty well. But, you know, like kind of in the macro, it was just like, well, if he can like do this all the time, shouldn't it stand to reason that I can do this all the time too? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the idea wasn't concrete, but the seed of a career was planted in that conversation. So even being able to see somebody doing something, you know, ahead of you, it gives you an idea that doing something that you enjoy all day is possible. You know, now bills and, you know, professionalism and all that stuff notwithstanding, these are things you have to, you know, add to it as you go along. But just the idea itself of doing something that you love doing, like for a living, I think it was planted in that moment.
And that's even an amazing connection to make as a 11, 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
To make the connection, well, if he's doing what he's skilled at full time, then maybe I can do what I'm doing full time. Because often, like regardless of the art form, but anything that is art related is typically seen as hobby unless you are hyper amazing at it and you are destined to go to Hollywood or you're destined to be on the big stage. But if you're not, if people don't perceive that as a possibility, even if you are, but people don't perceive it as a possibility.
So true.
Then it's like, that's a hobby, but when you get a real job.
When you get a real job. You know, I don't think I've ever been asked that question. And that's not because, like, I was that good at it. I think most people who know me well enough to even have the ability to ask that question know how much I love it. You know what I mean? So it was kind of not really an option. But you're 100% correct. Like, eventually we'll get to this, but when I was a spokesperson for my art school for about 7 years. And so I'd go to comic book conventions and talk about the school and talk about having a career in art with other hopeful artists and their parents a lot of times, because it was a school, and, you know, it's not like we were recruiting for talent, but people knew that it was an art school for comic book artists. And so parents would always come and ask me questions like, you know, is it a real job? Well, what can I do now? And, oh, my, you know, 8th grade son is a great artist, you know. And so I always ask them, like, at this stage, is it a hobby or a passion, right? Like, because if they just want to draw because they're antisocial and it's just a means of escape, and, you know, you walk through Barnes & Noble and you see the junior high kids sitting, you know, on the ground, like reading their mangas and stuff like that. If it's that, that's cool, you know. But I was like, if it's a passion, if they can't breathe without it, what you need to do is encourage them to just keep working at it and to draw everything, not just their favorite character or mimic their favorite style. Like, they need to learn how to draw everything, because you can make a good living doing it, you know. And people, I think most people don't know the, like, myriad of opportunities in commercial art. Like, the shirt you're wearing, somebody drew that, you know? Everything you see, like, it's not just signs and billboards, but all graphics. You go to the dentist's office and you see the stuff. You go to your food truck and that menu, like, an artist put that together. Like, the hardest part of the art business is breaking in. But, like, once you're in, there's more, like, you'll spend your whole life working, and, like, there's more work to be done. And most people don't know that. So, yeah.
Now, the journey from music to drawing, that moment of encouragement from your barber, then you get into high school and college. Where does your art journey go?
Oh, well, just before high school, it was abruptly interrupted. I was still drawing at the Boys and Girls Club in the snack area, and a friend of mine who, we weren't friends at the time, I just knew who he was because he was popular, I was drawing, and he came and grabbed me. He was like, "Hey man, come with me." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "We need one more." Oh. And I was like, "For what?" He was like, "We're playing 5-on-5, and we need one more person." And I was like, "I don't know how to play basketball, man." And he was like, "That's okay. Like, we just need one more person.
We just need a body."
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, "All right." I said, "But if I play, man, y'all gotta give me the ball." He said, "Don't worry about it. Like, we'll figure it out." And so began a crash course in basketball for me. I probably shot around. There's pictures of me playing horse with my mom as like a real little kid. Mm-hmm. I don't remember this, but it happened, you know? And it was a little rinky-dink, maybe 7-foot goal, you know, no net on the rim. And I got on a white sweatshirt and a polo under it with the collar up, you know? And my mom is shooting there with a cutoff shirt on. Like, it's weird. I don't know how this moment happened, but it happened. And it's in my grandma's front yard. I don't remember any of this, but at this point I was 11-ish, and the fellas asked me to come play ball. And being in North Carolina, I don't know if you know this, but we have two religions here. One is Christianity, and the other one is basketball.
Specifically college basketball.
Yeah, yes, right. And so, again, what I kind of shortly or quickly realized was basketball is a way to get some sort of social status. People know who you are, you know, which is cool. And for an only child who never really had, I mean, I had a best friend, you know, we're still close to this day, but apart from that, like, my circle was my pets, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, people starting to know who I am. I'm starting to know them, you know, whatever. And like I said, being a comic book person was not cool. I mean, I saw these same guys beat up a kid who's trying to show them a comic book, but what they didn't know was he had just shown me the comic book, and I was into it. And they beat him up, and I was like, yeah, I'm never telling these guys, like, I read comics at all.
He said, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over here now.
I'm gonna be playing ball later, because I'm going. I'm on my way. That's where I'm going. You know?
Hey, yo.
Yeah. You gotta be a quick study.
But also, you came back around and was like, can I get that book from you, though?
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, man, we're gonna meet up next week, too, right?
But are you good?
You good? Here's 35 cents, man.
And a Band-Aid.
Yes, yeah. So go get you a honey bun. It'll be fine. They didn't mean it. They're nice guys. But I'm gonna go play. So
also, don't tell them I want this book. Just keep that under wraps.
Yeah. So yeah, that's sports happened. And let's see, the Dream Team won gold on my birthday that year. And that was like, okay, like that's all I needed, man. Like, it was like destiny, you know? And so began like the Hoop Dreams chapter of my life. So art, music, everything else took a back seat to basketball.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah, I became a gym rat, man. And just by the grace of God and a little luck, honestly, I made the team as a seventh grader. The middle school coach, he only kept 5 7th graders, and the rest of the team was 8th graders. And so usually what the tradition was, if you were part of the 5 that made it in 7th grade, you'd be a starter in 8th grade. The thing was, that was my first year playing basketball. So like, I was good at drills, but like actually playing, I was like so scared, man.
Basketball IQ was low.
It was low. But I was watching all the college games, all the NBA games, you know, like I'm learning, I'm playing every day, hours and hours and hours at a time. You gotta remember, man, like this is Jordan at his heyday. Like we're in the Jordan era. And so everybody wants to be like Mike. And you know, they had that show NBA Inside Stuff. And it came out that Jordan practiced 3 hours a day at least. So it was like, that's what you do. You play 3 hours a day. So doing that, my friends who had grown up playing ball, they played all the time. And, you know, they were smarter and better, but they also had like vibrant social lives. I realized I could work longer than them. And then little by little, I got better and better and better. And also because like I was a late bloomer, I was always underestimated. You know what I mean? So I'd be making gains while they're chilling. And then I come back and be a little bit better. And then, oh, he got, he's better than that guy now. And then little by little, I start climbing up.
You also weren't the tallest, so you
right,
were
no.
assuming as well.
I was generally, I don't know that I think every team I've been on, I've probably been the shortest guy. Maybe there's like a couple teams, even in college, where like there was one guy shorter than me, but he averaged 20 a game. So it's like,
You're like 5'6".
Nah, on paper, I am 5'10".
Well, I'm at that time of your life.
Oh, at this time, middle school, not even, I was probably
5'5".
No, I was probably like 5'5", 5'6". That's accurate. I was a little taller than my mom, and she's 5'5", so it's probably like 5'6". But I could pat the backboard, and that was like the coolest thing, So yeah, man, I became a gym rat who drew on the side and played music on the side, and I kept ascending in basketball. Because then I realized, like, this was really a way to, like, separate myself completely from my family's name. Because my mother and my grandmother were career music teachers. And my grandmother was, she was a music and English teacher along with her husband, my grandfather. He was the principal during segregation. So everybody black in our hometown was educated by somebody in my family.
Whoa.
Yeah, heavy. Right. So, so everybody knew who I was because of my family, right? And then as soon as my grandmother retired, my mother immediately took her job. And so my mom worked that job for the next 30 years. So, like, everyone was educated. You always remember your music teacher, right? So I was known as, Valerie Harris's son, Eleanor Harris's grandson. And somehow, some way, I was like, I gotta make my own name, and sports was perfect because nobody in my family plays sports at all, and so, yeah, man, like by my senior year, I was one of the co-captains of the team. We won the state championship, so I was getting college offers and stuff. So it was like, yeah. I remember we were at Western Sizzling one time in my senior year, and this little kid came up to us, and I'm thinking they're gonna speak to my mom and my grandma. Clearly one of them taught their parents or something like that. But the kid asked me for my autograph, and then he looked at my mom and grandma, and they were like, and the kid was like, "Are you Lloyd Briggery's mom and grandma?" And I was like, "Yes." Finally,
I have ascended.
Yes, look at me. I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now. That is incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
So my art dream, it never got replaced.
It got sidelined.
It definitely got sidelined, but the plan, at that point, I had hoop dreams. And the dream was this. This was the plan. The plan was go to the NBA for 10 years, save money, retire, and start a comic book publishing company. That was the plan.
So it wasn't even sidelined. It was just literally put in the oven.
Right. Yeah.
And bake it like, not even 325, bake it like 115 Fahrenheit.
Easy.
And we'll get back to that in 10 years.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So how'd you make your way back there? Or what happened to those hoop dreams?
So what happened was I got a couple letters. I got 3 legit letters to go play Division I basketball. Because even back then it was like, you got to play D1, right? If you want to go to the league, you got to play D1. Now, I didn't know it. I'm going into all this from hearsay from my friends, watching SportsCenter, ESPN. I don't have a real mentor in basketball. My coach took care of me, and the crosstown coach, one of our rivals in the county, he took care of everybody that was good in the county. So these guys got me into Reebok camps and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I was ranked. I was top. I was I think the 75th highest ranked senior in North Carolina graduating. So you know what I mean? I had done good work. And so I got 3 legit letters to go D1. One was University of Hawaii, one was University of Maine, and one was Southwestern Louisiana State University, which I don't even know if it exists anymore, And so that was cool, but I felt like okay, since I have that attention, I can pivot that into a better situation. And so we opted instead to, I say we, because my mother and grandmother and I sat down and we had a conversation about my future. And being that I was 5 foot whatever, you know, at this point, 140 pounds soaking wet, it was like, look, we want you to go to the NBA. We know that's your dream, cool. But let's be smart about this. Like, let's set you up for success. Everybody in my family had gone to college. So, you know, I was by no means like a trailblazer for that. But they were like, okay, so let's get you to college. Okay, let's look at scholarship opportunities. Because again, you know, school teachers, like, what are they going to, like, they couldn't afford college like that, right? So we find the Army ROTC scholarship. Right. Yeah. And turns out at the time, I don't know if this is the case now, but the Department of Defense had a contract with the Board of Education, and it said that at least one person from a pool of applicants from every high school will get a scholarship. Well, I was the only one in my high school that applied for the scholarship. So like they had to give it to me. And this is full academic ride to the college of your choice as long as they have Army ROTC program. Right.
And this is why you apply.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
You might be the only one.
You're the only one.
In the applicant pool, which means you are guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Whatever it is that the Lord has for you.
Exactly. 100% guaranteed. 100%. So this was 1998. And the last step of that application process, before you sign the dotted line, I was 17 years old. I had to get interviewed at St. Aug up here by a colonel. And the interview's supposed to last a half hour. So they tell you, like, it's only gonna be 30 minutes, you know, be honest, whatever, right?
That
so we're talking.
Lasted 2 hours, didn't it?
It lasted 3 hours.
All right.
It lasted 3 hours. And the thing is, though, because, like, most people when they join the military, like, there's different kinds of people that join. I was never, like, a diehard patriot at all. Not to say I don't hate the country or anything like that, but it was like, that just wasn't my bag. I was an artist and an athlete, you know? This was a means to pay for college, but I told the colonel, I said, Colonel, I have questions for you. My question is, do you expect that we'll go to war within the next 3 years? And he was like, why you ask that? I said, well, since World War II ended, we've gone to war every 10 years in this country. And the last time we went to war was 91 for Desert Storm. Because my uncle retired from the Army that year. I remember this.
Whoa.
He retired just before Desert Storm happened. Yeah. And it was 1998. And I was like, so we're probably due in 2001 based off history. And he was like, you know, you're right. Now, I'm not going to tell you I knew that was what happened would happen. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea. But I'm just like, every decade, we've gone to war. Every 10 years, like clockwork. You might say it's been planned.
One might say.
If one were so inclined. Right. And he said, you know, and so I was like, okay, like, I just want to be on the level. Like, if I'm gonna join, and my obligation is for the next 4 years, which means 2002, we go to war 2001, like, what should I expect? So that opened up a whole thing.
And that was in hour one.
It really was. So
and that's why I went the extra 2 hours.
Yeah, yes, you know, and so we had a real good conversation.
Wow.
Obviously, I got a scholarship, and I opted to go to Hampton University because my aunt was a graduate of Hampton, and I was convinced that a different world actually took place on Hampton's campus. Hillman is, in fact, Hampton. I've got evidence from the show to prove it too, by the way. If anyone wants to debate me on the topic.
Oh, snap.
So,
the real HU.
Yeah,
Hillman University.
Hillman, yeah, Hillman's a real one. And so, yeah, I wanted a different world experience. That's what I wanted, you know, in college. And yeah, so I go to Hampton. I walk onto the team, which is a whole other story, but I was an art major. And the reason I majored in art, specifically graphic design, at Hampton you could do, art was the major, but like you could do the graphic design school or the fine art school. And in hindsight, like I probably should have done fine art, but I had plans on being on the basketball team anyway. So I was like, I need to major in something I can do that's easy. Like, that's not difficult because I ain't gonna be working too hard academically, right? I'm gonna be hooping. And I made the team, which was great.
That is very calculated.
Yeah. And so, and the reason I took graphic design was, this is funny. I laugh at this hysterically now. Photoshop had not come out yet by my freshman year. Oh, no, Photoshop had just come out, and Photoshop had made its way into the comic book world because they were now starting to color comics digitally using Photoshop as a program. And I said, oh, well, if I can learn this program, like the comics that I'm already planning on creating, I'll be able to use this program to color them.
You can do it faster.
Right, I'll be able to do it faster. And so I'll major in this to help me for the long game. Right. Now, I have to tell you, the big program that came out while I was in college was Photoshop 2. And we were still using the big bubblegum colored Macs, you know what I mean? Like, there was no stylus, it was just the mouse, like, we were still using Quark Express, like, yeah, it was not a good look.
iOS 1.1.
Yes, floppies still. Yeah, I remember the first thumb drive, it cost like $80 at Walmart.
Yeah, thumb drives were a big deal.
Yeah, and they were locked in the back. You couldn't just grab a thumb drive, you know. And
now we laugh at thumb drives.
Yeah, it's
now,
like,
if you ask an 8-year-old what's a thumb drive, they'd be like, why is my thumb driving?
Right. What would my thumb ever drive?
What is also 8 megabytes?
Right.
What is that gonna store?
Yeah.
That was the PS2 memory card, 8 megabytes. That's all we needed.
Come on, man. That's it.
That's all we needed.
We're so easily entertained back then. Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, but at Hampton, there's a comic book shop not far from campus called Atomic Comics. And so I simultaneously joined the Army and got accepted into school at the same time. And so went to Hampton. They had a pre-college program over the summer, so I moved to Virginia and was going back and forth from the gym to school to the comic shop. Like, that was my life. The comic shop owner was a Vietnam vet.
Whoa.
And his name was Bill. And Bill, white guy with a bob, wore a tank top and cut off fatigue shorts and flip-flops. Just classic Vietnam vet status.
He sounds like he should be in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
He should be right there. He was definitely in Stranger Things, just owning a store.
Yes. Skinny arms, little pot belly. And he was just chill, man. Had a Vietnamese wife. Like,
wow.
Total Stranger Things character, right? So here we are. I'm there every week, right? And he knows I'm in the Army, and we're just talking about life and everything. He liked me a lot because I was an Army guy and a comic book guy like him. Mm-hmm. And I'm thumbing through my comics one day, and I see this ad in the back of the. This is summertime now. I just graduated high school, right? I'm starting my freshman year. Mm-hmm. I see this ad in the back of a comic book, and it says Joe Kubert School of Cartooning and Graphic Art Incorporated. And it's a picture of a kid running with the portfolio and a dinosaur's chasing him. And then the logo says, like, you know, the good news is you've been accepted into the Kubert School, you know? And so it's in the back of a comic book. You know, like, they put ads like, you know, X-ray goggles and sea monkeys in the back of comic books, right? So I thought this was a joke.
Oh.
You know? And so I'm looking at Bill, I'm like, imagine that. A comic book college, what a joke. And he's like, it's not a joke. And I'm like, imagine if this existed. And he gave me that, like, Vietnam stare. And I was like, wait, this is real? Like, there's a comic book college? He was like, yeah. It's been around since the 70s, kid. You don't know about this? How would I know about this?
You've been living under a rock?
Yeah. Been living in Goldsboro is what I've been doing, man. And I was like, wait, so you're telling me there is a school that trains you how to be a professional comic book artist? He was like, yeah. That day, I went back to Hampton University, to the provost's office. I don't even know what a provost is. But I was like, look. I need out.
We gotta.
Yeah, like, I know I've signed these things.
I know what I said.
I took the oath. And,
I know what I said.
Right, I get all of that. But forget all of that. I found what I want to do in my life, and it's right here.
In this comic book.
In this comic book.
In the back of this comimic book.
Yes. Can't you see?
Is a dinosaur.
Right.
It must be real.
It must be real. And she kind of laughed at me, man. She was like, Mr. Brigg, that's not how things work. You have taken an oath to the government, and your check is cleared here at the school. The money's been spent, sir. You're here to stay.
There ain't no direct deposit,
No.
electronic. No, like, we literally processed a paper check. Money order, probably, at that time.
Yes.
So,
No. You're here, buddy.
it would take 15 to 35 business days to get that money back anyway.
If that, yes. But we're not even interested in giving you your money back at all. This is not happening for you. So you may as well hunker down. You're gonna be here for a while.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I tried to quit the Army and college that day.
Because of a comic book ad.
Because of the ad. Because I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, what are we doing? Right? So
That's hilarious.
yeah, if I had seen that ad a month earlier, I never would have joined the Army or gone to college. Like,
Yeah, well, you would have went to a different college, not Hampton.
yeah, I would have gone to this school directly. So
Whoa.
yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm going as soon as I graduate college. Like, this is what I'm doing after college. I'm going to this school.
This is my grad school.
Yeah, this is gonna be grad school for me.
That's amazing.
And well, first semester, senior year, 9/11 happened. As if on schedule.
Right on time.
Right on time. So it was like, yeah, you know those plans you had for,
Anything else?
yeah, anything else, those hoop dreams you had, those art school dreams you had? Nah, man, not unless they're balling and drawing in Iraq. If so, then go off, you know?
I mean, you can draw a basketball
Right.
on your way
Yes.
to...
Yeah.
But
So, yeah. Whoa. Yeah. So, yeah, that's... You know what's funny, though, man? Like, everything I'm telling you, like, this happened. Like, all of this stuff happened. Like, I didn't... You know, it's like you can't make this stuff up, man. I'm just like, well, just gotta... Like, okay.
I was in first grade watching the towers get run into.
Yeah.
Like, I vividly remember the fire alarm going off.
Wow.
But like, we were middle
Because you're in
school.
Maryland, right?
Yeah, so I was
stuff that the Pentagon's happening too.
closer
Right.
to the action than North Carolina,
Yeah.
technically speaking. But I remember being in first grade, Miss Thomas's classroom.
Wow.
I remember seeing the fire alarm. The fire alarm light went off, but the sound wasn't going off. So it was probably like a different emergency protocol for like, you put on the flashing light when something else besides a fire is happening.
Yeah, yeah.
At any rate, my mother came to get me. I lived literally down the street from school. Like, I could walk to school by the time I got to like third grade.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I remember getting home. We went to the basement, watched the TV, and I saw all the news. And I was like, I was 6. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah,
I was like, why is that building smoking?
Yeah.
Wait, where do those planes? Wait, planes aren't supposed to fly that low.
Man.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you on your way.
Bro, I mean, I'm like, I'm in uniform, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we were cadets and stuff. We were in the reserve. So I remember that morning, that Tuesday, I had a religious studies class and I was running late. So when I woke up, I didn't turn the TV on in my dorm. I just beelined it to class. And I get to the class and there's a sign on the door, class is canceled for the day. And I was like, because I was like 15 minutes late anyway, you know?
Like, you worried about class?
I'm worried about class.
Meanwhile.
Look, no, like, everybody's like, I mean, it's midday college campus, right? So like everybody's out and about, and I'm
Nobody
like,
really knows.
no, people are freaking out, but I don't know why.
But you didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not clocking it because I'm just trying to get to, you know, when you like tunnel vision trying to get to class, right? And then I saw my Army buddy, his name's Wes, and he was like, Brigg, man, they got us, man, they got us. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about? Because Wes was an architect major, so we were like the 2 art majors in ROTC, right? And Wes was like, they got us, man, they got us. We don't know yet, but they got us. They got the towers again. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, man, you haven't seen. I'm like, clearly, I've not seen. He was
You
like,
also don't have social media to look at your phone for nothing. So.
Right. He was like, go turn on CNN. Right. Boom. I beeline it back to the dorm. I turn on CNN, bro. When I tell you, as soon as I turn the TV on, one tower smoking, and about 30 seconds in, the second plane hits, I'm still not registering, like, this is real. My first thought was, dang, another Die Hard movie? Like, this was my first thought. I'm like, they got another one? They just had the one with him and Samuel L. Jackson in New York. And I'm like, another one in New York? Like,
why they advertise this on CNN?
Yeah, like, what is this? And then I'm like, oh, this is happening. Like, this is real. Now I'm starting to like, oh man, like, we're going to war. Like, it was like, all of our instructors were Vietnam vets. So they were like old school combat guys, tankers, infantrymen, rangers. So they trained us hard anyway. And they were like, they were cool guys, man. I still talk to a lot of them today. But they were old, crusty, cynical men. And they all drove BMW motorcycles, all of them, which was weird. It's
very specific.
It
I didn't
is.
even know Beamers made motorcycles.
And they're nice. These are retired colonels and majors, you know. Well, actually, some of them went back on active duty. But anyway, so like, I knew the attitude of our unit, you know, like they were combat guys, you know, and I was like, well, okay, boys. Like, you know, like, I was 21, you know, I was fresh 21. I spent the summer on tanks for the first time. As I knew that was gonna be my job once I went active duty when I graduated that year. And so it was like, well, all right. Every year, or every war this country's been in, it's been infantry and cavalry, which is now armor, on the front lines of every war. And I was like, well, I know I'll be, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out, do I want to watch SpongeBob or Disney Channel today? Oh, yeah, Proud Family. I'm watching Proud Family today.
Proud Family. Yeah. That's a good moment. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Whoa.
So, yeah, it was like, well, so much for basketball, so much for art. We going to war. You know, I will say this, over those years, I still read comics avidly, and I would sketch all the time. I had all kinds of good ideas that I would write down and draw, and people would hire me to draw their, like, tattoos, or, oh, my parents' anniversary, can you draw their portrait? So I would do that on the side for, like, money, which is a great way to, like, start making a living, by the way. But yeah, that's what was going on with art. I was an art major. I did well, you know, but I was never there. I was either doing Army training or playing ball or goofing off, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, man. And I was in a military fraternity as well. So, like, frat life, college life, black college, sports, you know, the whole thing. It was a different world. You know?
It was a different world.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with school days.
Right. Right. Yeah. Started off school days-ish, but very quickly a different world. Yeah, very quickly. So.
Whoa.
Yeah, man.
What was that connection that you explained to me last time we got up about Army vets and comics?
And like art people?
And then art people. Like,
yeah.
That literally blew my mind. So I want to like park right there.
Okay, okay.
And then we're going to drive to what art means in the social media landscape.
Got you.
But what was that one thing that you told me about your Army art and comics?
Yeah.
Break that down.
Okay, so these two worlds, artists and we'll just say military.
Yeah.
Military, you can even go so far as to say law enforcement, right? Like, this is the oil and vinegar of our society, of many, you know, but for sure, they're very different, seemingly. So as a guy who has a passion and has had a career in both, to me, they're almost the same. But to art people, they can't fathom what it would be like to serve in the military for one moment. And for military people, why would you pick up a pencil or a paintbrush to do anything? Like, we're going to the range, you know, like, what are you doing? Like, and so What's crazy about that is the comic book industry itself, as we know it in the United States of America, was started by World War II veterans who were mostly second-generation Jewish immigrants. So when Hitler was doing his madness in Europe, there was a great exodus of people, and a lot of them came over here, and most of them went to New York. A lot of Polish Jews, Austrian Jews, Jewish Jews, you know, you name it. And so that's in the 20s, 30s, right? They have their kids. These kids all grow up in Brooklyn. They're New Yorkers. These are the kids that started the comic book industry. And so when it came time for World War II, they were in their 20s. So, you know, every military age man at that time was in the military. And so they go fight a war, come back, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, like, yeah, right? So I'm like, what y'all don't know is the very thing, for my artist friends, like the very thing that you're into was started by veterans. You know, a lot of the best of all time or World War II vets, right? Well, and at the same time, I talk to my military friends, and they're like, they don't understand the idea of sitting down to draw for 8 hours a day. Like, it's just like, why? But why are you drawing though? Like, but you're like, for what? You know? And it's like, but these guys, they love the Marvel movies, right? Like, the most popular, like when you're deployed, you you can put, not graffiti, but like
decals and stuff.
Yeah, decals and stuff on your vehicles. And the most popular one throughout the entire wars in Iraq and Afghanistan was the Punisher logo. You know, he's a Marvel Comics character. The next most popular one was the Captain America shield. Again, Marvel Comics characters, right? So it's like, you guys love that world, and you guys love this world. Like, you're the same. But they don't know it though. That's why I said seemingly they think they're different, but I know because I've been neck deep in both worlds. Like, y'all the same, man. You know, and honestly, what people don't know about artists, particularly this kind of art, commercial art, like art that is to be seen and judged by an unforgiving public, the amount of courage it takes to like put yourself out there, put your name out there. I see no difference in that amount of courage versus getting in a tank, going on a patrol in Iraq. Like, it is, you are literally putting yourself out there. Now, obviously, your life's not on the line when you're drawing pictures, but I'm saying the feeling behind it, like the audacity to like draw something and then let every person who sees it have a judgment on it. Bro, that's hard. That's why most talented people never make it, because they don't have the thick skin for criticism like that. And in this day and age, social media, like, you just got trolls just saying mean things because they think it's funny, right? Meanwhile, this person's soul is like on display, right? They're just like, oh, what are you doing? You know, like, this is some, fourth grader, like, who cares? So, but it takes courage, man, to do both, is my point, So there's like a lot of similarities in both worlds, even though these worlds on the surface couldn't be further apart,
There you go.